Ex-cons, what is the most fucked up thing about prison that nobody knows about? When you get out, the feeling of soft carpet on your bare feet is borderline orgasmic and you'll never take it for granted again. When you get out, you miss the simplicity of choices. When you are in, all you think about is getting out and what you will do when that happens. Everything focuses around this. When you are out, at first, the input is enormous and a small part of you miss the simplicity. It bombing. I had a friend go to prison for a drug-related crime. He had his own cell and stuck to himself for the most part. Another inmate it into a water bottle and filled it to the brim with water and mixed it up into a slush. Said inmate then took the water bottle to my friend's cell, placed at the slit at the bottom of his cell door, and ducking stomped on it. Water sprayed absolutely everywhere. While my friend was in the cell too. Not exactly a secret, but prisons make $ off commissary. Many PPL think the prison system purposely underfeeds its inmates so they are more compelled to buy off them. $1.50 for 75-cent pastries. Ramen packs for $1. Prob .33 CPA. $10 for $1 long johns. etc. etc. Also the insane costs for phone calls. Not me. My fiancé was in state prison for 2 years when he was 18-20. He worked in the kitchen and said all the meat labeled there was labeled not for human consumption. He told other inmates about it and he got kicked out of his kitchen job and put in the hole for telling people. My dad was in prison. In his situation, and in many others, you feel immense guilt after getting to know your fellow inmates. Because you're gonna get out, and they're not. Ever. Guards can and will withhold medical treatment. When I was in county jail, there was an older woman, vomiting profusely. She couldn't keep water down. Her skin was tenting and she was hallucinating. I explained all this to the guards and that she needed medical treatment immediately. For 2 days she was like that until I transferred out. I have no idea what happened to that woman and I still think about her. This was in Georgia, USA. My brother is a CO, and he told us why the inmates have shampoo and soap that comes in packets now. They used to have it in little bottles. Well, the guys would use up all their soap and instead of throwing the bottle away, they would keep it and fill it with a combination of whatever bodily fluids they felt was appropriate and use it to hold up other inmates for their commissary. Like, if you don't give me your commissary, I'm going to squirt this bottle in your face. And when they said no and got squirted in the face, they got pinky. My brother said a lot of people had pinky. It was always one of the ingredients in the bottle. Not a felon, but the wife of one. There are an unbelievable amount of rules that have to be followed. Even for visitors. Some of them you can pick the rationale out, but a lot are just rules for the sake of rules. You don't follow, you get punished. The whole point seems to be to try and get you bothered, and remind you that you're powerless. Want to visit your loved one? Show up and wait to be called. You can't stand in this part of the lobby. Everyone on that side of the lobby, behind the blue line. No one goes in unless everyone's behind the line. When you filled out your paperwork, you used a line instead of an X in the checkbox. You have to redo everything, and your paperwork goes to the bottom of the pile. You better have read the 3 pages of dress code rules. If you did something wrong, you don't find out you need to change until you're about to go in. Hope you brought an extra outfit in your trunk or you're off to find a Walmart. You're wearing the same outfit you've worn the last 4 times you visited? Too bad. The HBIC on duty today says you have to change. The whole thing is like going through the tsar at the airport. Except the disgruntled, power-tripping government employees follow you onto the plane and you don't actually get to go anywhere. Not me, but my mother. They had to put her in her own area because she was pregnant and people kept threatening the baby. It also happened that her cellmate was a woman who boiled her child alive and ate it. Edit, I should have said in the beginning it was a county jail, not big time prison. For a non-Western prison in an anonymous country. They keep statistics on inmates, but often report false cause of death. When a prisoner is found tied to a bed beaten to death, he would be checked into hospital for a week before they finally report his death due to natural causes like cardiac arrest or dehydration. Administration staff do not want to get involved in keeping order, so they have a group of prisoners they elect to do it for them. This means this group gets special privileges from administration staff, where they turn a blind eye to abuse for the sake of keeping order. The ruling group gets unlimited power to extort, abuse and otherwise exploit everyone else, as long as they keep violence in the rest of the population down. The official staff keeps a distance and away from harm, but the rest of the prisoners are subject to a ruthless gang. The administration staff only interferes if their elected group does not keep order, which is when they elect a different gang to the role. Administration staff will manipulate rebellious inmates. They will create sympathy between the inmate and themselves and encourage them to stand up for what's right. They say they have a plan to help and continue meeting with these inmates. But any inmate that has repeated meetings with administration staff is seen as a tattletale that reports other inmate offenses. When others find out they meet with administration regularly, they do not last long. This is how the official staff remove people that rebel against the system. Then they report their death as a natural cause. 1 week later. Everyone knows to stay out of this business, but sometimes people get trapped. Inmates will accuse other inmates they don't like of being tattletales to get them removed. They have no way out. They cannot go to the administration staff because they keep this system alive, and they cannot communicate with the outside world because all communication is intercepted.